shoveling all day. All right, I have 7 o'clock and we're on the air. We'll call the town board meeting for June 15th, 2026 to order. First item on the agenda is the agenda. Patrick?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if it pleases the board, we did get a late afternoon request for consent agenda for golf cart permit. And so we would put that under consent item 5D. And then I know Mr. Ruzek wanted to add an agenda item at number 9. Steve, do you want to take it away?
I will do that when you want to leave it, just housekeeping.
Oh, okay.
I'll just call it housekeeping.
Housekeeping it is.
On that consent agenda item that you want to add, I'd like to have that not on the consent because I see something we got to discuss. So can we put it someplace else?
Put what, or put,
The consent item D that you wanted to add instead of
Or we
putting
can
it
leave it
D.
on consent and just pull it.
Pull
off.
it at the time. I'll do it that way.
Okay. All right, board have anything else? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is approval of payment of the bills. Stein,
I
Steve?
signed off, move approval payment of the bills.
Second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Then I need a motion for the approval from the minutes of June 1st. Anybody have any changes?
I did not.
I saw none. Move to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, item 5 is a consent agenda item. We have 4 of them. Well, we have 4. We'll just pull one.
I'd like to pull the newly added item D for discussion.
So I need a motion to approve 5A through C.
I'll make the motion to approve items 5A through C.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item 5D, this is a golf cart permit request.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd make a comment that I'm fine with approval of the golf cart permit request, subject to the applicant providing the liability certificate.
okay.
She provided the physical damage evidence that the golf cart has physical damage coverage, but there's nothing to indicate liability coverage, which usually goes hand in hand. I think she just missed it, but we need that.
Okay.
Yep. So I'd move to approve this, subject to the applicant providing to the deputy clerk evidence of liability insurance and holding the township harmless.
You got it. I
Is
should
that
have
the way
known.
you should say it, Chad?
Yes. All right, do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. All right, moving on, old business. Item 6A is the fire contract discussion. Patrick?
Nope,
Ed?
I'm going to let Chad.
Basically, I mean, at the heart of the issue is the city, by requesting compensation for something that's not part of the contract, are they in default under the terms of the contract? I think the argument would be yes, they are. And the question is, does the board want to declare them to be in default under the terms of the contract? You may want to think about this before you make that decision.
Well, what are the pros or cons? Will the court look at that any differently when?
No. It won't make any difference at all to the lawsuit. The court's going to make its own mind up.
And Chad, if the board would agree to go forward by declaring a default by the city of White Bear Lake in their fire contract, does that affect the timing of everything else we got going on right now with this, or does it just proceed as its own issue?
It does proceed its own issue, and it does affect the timing of when the contract would terminate.
For people who are watching, we still have coverage.
Yes.
We got, by contract, 18 months left.
Okay. I just don't
You-
want anybody worried.
Questions?
Well, I guess are we looking to pass a resolution, or what are what are you asking us to do if we say, I agree they're in default? What's the step? What are we trying to do?
I would say, in this case, unlike the direction to send a letter, I would treat this as a resolution, but I think before we adopt the resolution, better look at closely. And this is just being brought up to get this on the board's radar. And I think you should, but if you did decide to go forward and declare this to be a breach, I would say recommend you adopt it as a resolution.
So putting it on our radar now allows us to have discussion at the executive meeting and make that decision. There's no urgency to do this, or is there urgency?
There's no urgency to do this.
Okay, so our next time to really talk about it is probably at the exec meeting and decide if we're going to proceed with a resolution.
That would
And-
be, given the fact that the exec meeting is in 2 weeks, yes.
And then if the step to go forward is a resolution at the exec meeting, then it would come to the next board meeting to pass?
Yes,
So we have to do it in?
yes,
Okay.
All right, so you'd have something for us to review at our exec meeting, a resolution?
yes.
Okay.
I'd recommend that we do that. Take no action tonight, Mr. Chair, and discuss it at our exec meeting.
But give town legal directive to look into and present a resolution that frames the conversation with potential default on the contract.
Yes.
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 Exactly right, thank you.
But
Give me a second.
do we need a formal resolution or formal motion for that?
Not to give you a directive.
No, not to give me a direct.
Okay. Does that work for the board?
Just that you didn't need a formal
Yes.
motion to send the letter of termination.
Okay.
So for tonight, we're just tabling this for further discussion.
So it's just on our radar and we're,
Exactly, that's the
Okay.
whole point.
all right.
All right, if there's no other questions, moving on. 6B, the Utility Commission. This is a recommendation regarding a frozen line service at 5443 Ridgeway Avenue.
Correct. Mr. Chair and the board, the Utility Commission has debated this issue ad nauseum. I believe,
That would be true.
yes, would agree.
Yes.
We've been dealing with this for 5 months now. But we believe, after extensive conversation over the last 2 utility commissions, May and June, that we've come to a resolution of sorts for this issue. Beth, do you want to go over it? Do you want me to keep going?
Well, you've kind of done it right. The other thing that we discussed, because this doesn't happen real often, we also, including the items you see with 2, that we'd actually come up with maybe a bit of a protocol, so if this happens again, we give the right direction, because essentially, we're controlling how their money is being spent, and we want to make sure we do a good job for the resident also. It's good for us, good for them. And there's no gray areas. If there
Agreed.
was gray areas was kind of the issue.
And the reason this even comes up is because it was an emergency situation
Yes.
Correct.
that had to have immediate action. We just want
Yes.
to be clear on obligations,
Yes.
and that's what this proposed statement of owner's responsibility.
That is
Yes.
correct.
And is Chad involved in?
When, so staff, that being me and Larry, are going to put together the language for this, and we will run it by legal, and then get it to the Utility Commission for their recommendation.
Okay, and then it has to come back to the board for approval?
For final approval, yes.
So to resolve, can I finish my?
Sure, of course.
As it relates to this particular issue, has the resident been made clear as to what our
Yes.
resolution is?
Yes.
Okay, and that they've, to your knowledge, have accepted
He has accepted it.
that's all
Yes.
his responsibility is? Yep. Okay,
Just for residents watching, you have to understand that you own your water line from your home to the curb stop to where it connects to the road. And this is where some of the confusion came into play with who owns what. And I don't know how we can make that maybe a little bit more educational to our residents, whether it's at the website or maybe on News and Views.
So our statement of owner's responsibility will begin its statement by referencing our existing ordinance that outlines that specifically. And it's more just and we're not just gonna have it when we're dealing with an emergency once or twice a year. Every new resident that comes into the township is going to receive this, and hopefully we start to send the message on how clear this is, getting it to everybody.
Well, weren't we going to make it clear to people who are actually renovating homes?
Yeah.
That it's smart to have it. And we're going to turn it off? If that's the case, they're going to renovate homes because there's a lot of it in that area. the town will turn it off, or are we
Well,
gonna?
I don't
we haven't
know.
confirmed
Did we
that
agree
yet.
on that with the utility commission? I don't know.
I don't know where we left it.
I don't think we.
No, but I think with Larry with Public Works, he's concerned that you touch it, you own it.
Mhm.
So we've also had the,
But somebody who's gonna leave it, you know.
well, I'm just saying, we had the discussion that if you want that water shut off, maybe the township locates it, but an actual plumber or someone else has to.
Plumber can't do it. No, the plumbers don't do it. I called 3 of them down here, none of them can touch it.
I
They're
know,
not certified.
okay, I know two that will, so we can argue that all day.
Okay, no, then
But-
let's have that available
but
to the.
There's a
town
tool
council.
for it, and a lot of plumbers have that tool. It's just the problem is, we run into problems, if we go to shut it off and it locks up, then all of a sudden they blame us for it, or break off the.
That's true.
So we need to get that finalized. Obviously, that's not part of this deal right now, but that's something we gotta get into.
Yeah, we just need to make, and it's like when they make the call, because they're gonna call us when it. you know,
No, that's.
Yep.
And we just need to make sure we can steer them correctly.
So would it not be a good idea, once we get this statement of owner's responsibility finalized, that we put a insert in with utility billing that says refer to our website for further details as it relates
Perfect.
to this?
Yep.
Only so, because existing homes, whether they're today doing any remodeling, but tomorrow might, they're gonna not remember it. But we have to be able to demonstrate that we've tried to educate everybody as to what the responsibilities are and where they can go to get further information. So we can do it.
It's,
When it happens, I think you're kind of, I mean, yes, that's sort of simplistic, but the thing is, your water is burst open, it's leaking down the street. Your first call is to the township, and you're looking for help, and we just need to,
Well, I agree with that, but as
Yeah.
Ed said, though, we touch it, we own it.
I
And so
get
the
that.
water can be gushing all you want, but they still gotta know we can't touch it legally, well, without except, if it,
It's, I agree with you, but we do have to help them somehow.
I agree with helping, absolutely.
Yep.
We've gotta figure out the best way.
Way to help them is to make sure you have a list of plumbers that will do this in an emergency.
Exactly, exactly.
Or can we have it stated that we're held harmless if it does not shut off or if something goes?
yeah, something along those lines too.
Right.
That's a possibility too. In fact, that's probably the best compromise. Because I agree completely with the concept that if you touch it, you own it. That's something you have to be careful.
It's just a lot of old curb stops out there that either won't shut off or when you go to shut them off, they're gonna break.
Yeah. That's, except for the ones that we're replacing now, Ed.
Yeah.
But I think what we do, folks, is this is going to take several iterations and drafts going back and forth, but let Larry and I take the first stab at creating as encompassing a statement or policy that we can, and then we start getting everybody's input on where they want to see it, how we should utilize it, tweaking the language, whatever it is we want to do.
I think it has to be made clear that the town's not shirking its responsibility here. Just simply wants to make sure everyone understands the clear line of responsibility of who's, of
It's sort of a clear.
the
financial
responsibility of the
obligation.
line of, the water lines, who's responsible for what part of the line.
So to finish this up tonight, we have to, the board has, you're asking us to accept the recommendation, is that?
Yes, please.
You want me to make that motion?
Part of it, so.
You've been running that ship.
All right, let me get to that. Is that a resolution? And sorry, I'm on the agenda here. What page are we on, do you know?
Page,
Page 80.
You could just read it off of your agenda.
yeah, take it off.
Oh,
of page
thanks,
one.
Ian. Tell me that now after I've gone flipping through it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful assistance here, yeah. All righty. Oh, thank you. All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendation regarding the frozen line service at 5443 Ridgeway Avenue.
I'll second that.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right,
Thanks, folks.
that motion carries. Moving on, we have a public hearing for 5256 Grand Avenue. I'm gonna need a motion to waive the reading.
I'll move to waive the reading that it was properly published.
A second?
Made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
I'll second, or I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. All right, Andrew, are you going to cover this?
All right, Town Board, before you tonight, you have a variance for 5255 Grand Avenue. This is the location of an existing legally non-conforming single-family dwelling unit with alley access that was constructed in 1947. Property is zoned R1 suburban residential and is within the airport safety zone C. The proposed new single-family unit, dwelling unit with an attached garage will gain access from Grand Avenue with a patio in the rear. The existing structures will be removed in their entirety, and variances are required to accommodate the new development. There are two variances being requested tonight. The first is to allow a 5-foot encroachment to the required 35-foot front yard setback and an impervious surface coverage of 37.5, and the limit is 30%. The property is considered a legally non-conforming lot, which is below the minimum lot area and width. The primary structure is also considered legally non-conforming due to the impervious surface coverage, the front yard and side yard setback encroachment to the north. And the existing structure has two legally non-conforming structures and exceeds the impervious surface maximum. The side setback to the north is 5.5 feet. The existing front yard setback is 20.6 feet. And there's 38.5% of impervious surface coverage on the lot. And this just kind of shows you what the existing house setbacks are, what the proposed, and then what the R1 standards are for undersized lots. As I mentioned, this is an undersized lot, so they are able to go down to, at most, 6 feet for the side property line without a variance, just based on the minimum required width of the lot, the actual width of the lot, and then the required setback. The R1 standards for undersized lot are 35 feet along the front, 35 along the rear, 6 on each of the sides. And then the existing is the front non-conforming front yard setback, 20.6 feet. And then the northern side setback along the property line is 5.5 feet. The 5.5 foot setback would be removed, and the new structure would have a 30-foot setback from the front, which would require the variance. The rear would be increased to 54.6 feet. The side setback, which was non-conforming, is 6 feet now, which would be conforming. And then the southern property side yard setback would be 7 feet. R1 standards are actually 30% of the lot area because this is not within the shoreline management area. That being said, the existing impervious surface coverage still exceeds it 38.5%, and the applicant is proposing a reduction of 1% or 37.5%. The variance requests are the 5-foot encroachment into the required 35-foot front yard setback, and then the impervious surface maximum is exceeded by 37.5%. Correction. It's exceeded by 7.5%. The requirement is 30%. The township can issue variances to requirements of the zoning ordinance if the request is in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance, consistent with the comprehensive plan, and the applicant is proposing a reasonable use of the property. First is that the property owner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by an official control. This criteria is met. A single-family dwelling unit is a reasonable use in the R1 district and is permitted. The proposed structure brings one of the existing setbacks into compliance with the R1 standards, reduces the amount of impervious surface on site, and is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback by 5 feet, which if you look at the existing structure, that is more in compliance than the existing structure is. And so staff feels that this is met. Second is that the plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the landowner. The existing lot and structure are considered legally non-conforming, which they were before the current owner obtained possession, so staff feels that this criteria is met. Third is that the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. Is a single-family redevelopment, so this will be in line with the existing neighborhood and what was previously there. Fourth, economic considerations alone do not constitute practical difficulties. This criteria is met. The practical difficulties are not due to economic considerations, but the zoning ordinance itself. And the last is not applicable as it's a request
related to direct sunlight for solar energy systems, so it's not applicable to this. Variance criteria, the applicant has provided a narrative based on how they address each of the 6 criteria. The first is that without the issuance of a variance, the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. While the setback represents a small percentage of a standard lot's depth, consumes approximately 3.5% of the undersized lot's total depth, this disproportionate impact prevents the owner from achieving a reasonable highest and best use of the land that is enjoyed by neighbors on larger parcels. Second is that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. The nonconforming dimensions of the lot and the structure were established prior to the adoption of the current zoning requirements. The hardship is inherent to the land's legal configuration and is not the result of any action taken by the current owner. Third is that the granting of the variance request will not confer on the applicant any special privileges that is denied by this ordinance to other land structures or buildings in the same district. You guys have seen some similar variances come in these nature, basically to facilitate redevelopment in kind of scattered sites. So this is consistent with the actions that the town has taken previously. It will not confer any special privilege in the same district. As I mentioned, the property is becoming more conforming by removing one of the non-conforming setbacks and then reducing the impervious surface coverage, as well as bringing the front yard setback into greater compliance. Fourth, that the proposed action will not unreasonably increase the congestion on public streets. It's a single-family house replacing a single-family house, so staff feels that this is would be the same kind of impact on public streets. Fifth, that the proposed action will not increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety. A new construction addition will be located further away from the adjacent property, so this does not propose to increase the danger or of fire or endanger public safety. And finally, that the proposed action will not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the neighborhood or in any other way be contrary to the intent of this ordinance. The variance will not impair use of the adjacent properties, increase fire hazard risks, nor will it diminish property values in the surrounding area. Instead, it allows for the reasonable improvement and intended continued use of a legally non-conforming lot. Staff sent this out to internal township staff as well as external agency reviewers for comment. The building official does not have any comments. Public Works, Engineering, and the Fire Inspector don't have any comments. The City of White Bear just requested that public hearing notices be sent to their residents within the area. Ramsey County does not have any comments. And then the Rice Creek Watershed Organization stated that the project proposes to stockpile earth or other erodible materials on site which exceed 50 cubic yards and or land disturbance activities exceeding 5,000 square feet. A Rice Creek Watershed District Notice of Intent is required to implement best management practices, and I can connect you with Anna if you guys haven't talked yet. With that being said, the town board has the following options for both variance requests, with motions being made separately for each of the requests. And first is recommending approval of a front yard setback of 30 feet, a variance of 5 feet. The second is a request to increase the impervious surface coverage by 7.5% over the maximum 30%. And the town board has the following options for each of these motions. First is recommend approval of the request with or without conditions. Second is recommend denial of the request with findings for denial. Or third, table the request for further review or study. With that, I will take any questions that you guys have. The applicant is in attendance as well.
Beth?
Is this house significantly taller than the houses on, see, to the south of it, I believe?
Let me pull up the.
I couldn't see an elevation on it.
I've got one here at
Yeah,
18.9.
What?
This one here,
How tall?
18.9,
So about 20 feet.
just to here.
I got the house.
Well, you have to go to the peak, though.
I know, that's,
What is our maximum, 40 feet?
Yes.
I don't think it's even closing in on that.
okay.
And then the applicant is in attendance if you guys have any questions for him.
What else you got?
It's, I guess, at one point we talked about aesthetics. I mean, it's probably not similar to the homes that are there. But I have no other
Steve? you
I was
wanna-
gonna say, you know, I think Andrew pointed out, you know, this is kind of heading down the redevelopment road.
Yep.
And so styles have changed, so.
Oh, they have.
I think the applicant, when he was at the planning commission, indicated he's got a second lot that's gonna have a similar situation coming before us also. So as part of redevelopment, we're gonna have two homes, similar, I'm assuming.
We'll get you a
Yeah.
chance here in a second.
So, no, I don't have any other questions. I think it lines up with the neighboring homes. It's just a newer model.
Uh, Andrew, do you know the distance between the new proposed house and the existing one at 5253?
5253. Yes, actually, the applicant has provided an exhibit just kind of showing, we wouldn't know the exact location without a survey, but this is kind of what was shown just based on what the county uses.
I know, it's hard to tell there on the,
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious because a lot of times when we get variances for one home and it encroaches onto the side property line,
Mhm.
that may affect the neighbor.
And this is not, this is going to be making one of the side property setbacks conforming, where it was previously non-conforming.
Okay.
And that's to the north. The southern property line looks like it's gonna be coming in at about 7 feet, which is closer than the existing house was at 10.5, but it's still within what's allowed for undersized lots.
And then the other thing is the proposed patio.
Mhm.
Is that included in the green space
Yep.
calculations?
Correct.
All right, so is that a concrete patio?
Yep.
So if that was to be a paver patio, would that decrease the nonconformity of the green space?
It would. And granted, the applicant is, with their proposal as it stands, is proposing to decrease that amount, but, you know, that is an option as well if the town board would like to see a further reduction, you know, the
Yeah.
patio could be pavers. One issue with pavers, that was kind of brought up to me by the town engineer, is that over the life of them, they can actually become impervious based on like how they degrade.
Well, that's above our pay grade, so.
Something to consider.
All right, well, but so if you have the dimensions of the patio, and if you take that dimension and make that pervious, would that not require the variance for the green space?
Let me pull up the house plans real quick.
I couldn't read, I didn't see it on there, I couldn't read it on
Glad it wasn't just me.
there. Was that brought up at the,
Yes.
Yep, that did come up at the planning commission, and that was one of the things that they brought up. Jason, I don't know if you want to talk at all
well,
about.
we'll get to them in a second. All right, so if you can just kind of get me about an idea on that.
Yep.
If there's a way for the applicant to not get the variance, I think the board would appreciate that. But plus two, now they have
This is when you're talking about?
concrete that's porous.
It looks like the proposed patio is 250 square feet,
What is it?
240 square feet, and so that would be. So that would still be over 30% and require a variance, but that is an option to make the property more conforming than what the applicant is proposing.
Board have any other questions of Andrew?
No.
All right, hearing none, I need a motion to open it up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing up for public comment.
A second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, I know the applicant's here, if you want to come up, state your name and address.
I'm Jason Timmers with Custom Homes. Address is 1464 Selby Avenue in St. Paul.
So do you understand where I'm kind of going with this?
Yes,
Is that basically a slab walkout, so you just step down onto the or concrete slab is what you're trying to do?
I have a patio, and then there is a couple steps down to that patio. So it is not a slab on grade house. We currently have it proposed with the basement.
So, I mean, you have some options then to not put a concrete slab there. Even if it isn't pavers, you could put a small ground deck there.
There could be a deck, there could be a sun deck, there would be a regular
That
deck with
would al-
railings,
That's pervious, so that would
but
eliminate.
I still take it as, are you gonna allow that as impervious or pervious as a deck,
Well,
a
that's,
wooden deck?
that's pervious.
Okay,
I mean, if that's an option for you, I think the board would appreciate, because that just lessens the variance request.
yeah, that's something we can consider. Typically, I've been doing more, just patios is simply long-term maintenance for whoever will ultimately live in this home, but I could definitely do.
That's just my opinion. Steve, you got any-
No, I think that's the direction we've been trying to go with most of these, is limit the variance as much as possible, and that would do it. And I think at the planning commission, not putting words in your mouth, but you did say the same thing you said tonight, that you'd consider it.
Yep. And I would probably be more apt to do a deck versus pervious patio pavers, just because long-term effect, they're just not the greatest product, in my opinion, for our environment.
Also not cost effective, they're fairly expensive.
Well, probably that wood's probably more money these days now than.
But no, like I said, they also have pervious concrete now. I know that's expensive.
And that has its own faults as well. I've used that in the past on projects, and again, it's up to the resident who will ultimately live there to keep that clean, keep sand out of it. Oftentimes, it fills up all the pores, and then ultimately, you're right back to where you started. So they all have their downfalls, but I mean, they are products that are available. They're oftentimes, I don't feel they're the greatest products for our climate with the cold weathers and the freeze thaw cycles that often pop those products, but they are a possibility.
Is that a sign?
Exactly.
All right, Beth, any questions or comments on that part of it?
No, I would agree with your thoughts on lessening the variance.
So, just for a moment, because I mentioned it, you got another property right next door. Which one of these is yours?
52, 53. So it would be to
Oh,
the
so
south.
That's the one you,
Okay.
he was
Oh.
questioning.
Yeah.
And it's still gonna be an undersized lot similar to this, and so the concerns that we have tonight will be in consideration for the next one.
Exactly. Yep. And then
A lot of
propose
times,
it differently.
Safety feet, I know, I've heard the number at a minimum of 10 feet between homes, just for fire emergency, whatever, utility, you never know, but they'd like to see at least 10 feet no matter what you do, so something get down between the homes.
Yeah, I guess a lot of my experience too, I do a lot of infill in the inner city as well. So state fire code's 5 feet from the property lines, the minimum.
Well,
So,
but that gets 10 feet from both of them, so that's.
so then that gets you 10 between the two properties. Yep.
All right, well, if you would consider that, I don't have an issue with this. I think that's, like you said, it is a homeowner preference, but I'm a carpenter by trade, so I'd rather see wood.
So, what do you,
Well, I guess Andrew would have to calculate the,
impervious?
yeah, obviously, we're still gonna have to give you a variance.
Mhm.
That lessens the severity of the variance for
Yep.
green space. And again, we could approve this and have Andrew work out the details with you with the exact number, can't we, Chad?
Yes. You can simply direct staff to prepare.
Yep.
So we'll do this in two motions? Yep. Okay. I'll move.
Oh, hang on a second.
Okay.
You got anything else to add?
Oh, sorry. We didn't-
No, nothing.
Sounds good.
Got everything.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak to the issue? Ralph?
Thank
You have a deep desire on this? You have a deep burning question that you want to ask us? Okay. All right, hearing no one else, I need a motion to close the public.
I'll move to close the public portion of the hearing.
A second.
Motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, Steve?
I'll move to, on one of them, to recommend to reduce the front yard setback 30 feet, 5-foot variance.
I'll second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
So I'd also move to, on the second impervious surface calculation, to have the applicant work for the final number with the planner to reduce the variance request from 7.5% to something
Yep.
that you two would agree to?
It looks like 33.6%.
So 3.6?
Yep.
Variance? So not to exceed 3.6% impervious surface variance?
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Motion carries. Good luck, sir.
I'll follow up with you on next steps, and then I'll be in the office tomorrow, and I'll talk to the building official about the building permit side of it.
All right.
Good to see you,
thanks.
Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item 8A, Planning Commission recommendation. Patrick, you gonna go over this?
Actually,
I'll go for it. Actually, it's, I probably made the error. This is the fellow that had the frozen pipe, and he had actually said that he was gonna leave the planning commission, and I think we should accept his resignation versus,
Has he formally given us
yeah,
one?
yeah, I think he said it to me on my text.
Okay.
I can go back and find it.
that's
Does
fine.
does that have to go to you though, Patrick, or not?
It's fine if it's a board member and she's
Okay.
recording it here. We're doing it.
The planning commission, the planning commission did review their bylaws and did recommend that to the board to accept that.
All right, so we need,
Make a motion to accept the resignation from,
is that your motion, Beth?
it is.
I'll second that.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? All right, item 9 is add agenda items. Supervisor Ruzek has something to share with us.
Gotta get your pillows out, I got an hour's, no, I don't. First off, I'm gonna do the fun stuff. For those listening and for those gonna hear it in the paper in the minutes, we have some openings on some of our commissions and boards. The Park Board currently has one opening. The Planning Commission will have one opening after tonight. The Utility Commission has 2 openings, and the Public Safety is full, as is, and the EDAB has 1 opening.
2.
It changed since you gave me the information. With that in mind, for anybody listening or reading about this, they can contact the township offices. Riley
Almond.
Ullman, our
Yep.
deputy clerk, can get the applications and help people get this contained. But we do have volunteer positions, and we'd love to fill them.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the number 1 item. The second item I want to mention is that I have what amounts to a correction or clarification for the public relating to the report of our June 1st town board meeting as it appeared in the White Bear Press newspaper dated Wednesday, June 10th. One of the items discussed and voted upon at our board meeting of June 1st was the County Road H2 Trail project. The White Bear Press article mentioned the project is a $1.2 million project and went on to write that the project will be funded from the township's Park Acquisition Fund, which is a fund dedicated to costs associated with public space. That is a true statement to the fact that whatever the township is paying comes out of that. What was not mentioned in the paper, and this is an important clarification, is that this County Road H2 project is a joint project with Ramsey County. At the board meeting on June 1st, we made clear that the township is not footing the bill for the entire project, and the use of the dedicated funds for public spaces means no impact on the general levy. This was noted in our minutes, as we noted tonight. I'd like to note that the $590,000 of the estimated costs will be coming from Ramsey County through county's locally led project solicitation program. And I think this is an important distinction, and I hope that it finds its way into the White Bear Press report of tonight's board meeting. And that is what I wanted to say, and I will give this copy to the press representative if she would like it.
All right. Any other comments from the board? All right, hearing none. Item 10 is open time. Ralph, got anything tonight? All right, hearing none. Item 11, I need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn at 7:39.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, everybody.
Wow.